Hello, boys and girls. Today we're going to create a still life similar to what we saw with Paul Cézanne's apples. Okay, now I'm just doing apples, but you can choose any other type of fruit or any other object if you'd like to create a still life of your own, of maybe your toys. But I'm just going to show you how to do apples. You can use crayons, you could use markers. If you want to start with crayons and then maybe fill it in with watercolor, you can do that. You can use oil pastels. I found these at the Dollar Tree, which are very cool. They have a new brand of materials that are available at the dollar store, which I thought that was really nice. And these have like a waxy or oily texture, similar. They're a little oily. These are waxy compared to the crayons, but they're really good that if you want to draw with them and then paint over them with watercolor, these colors will stand out really nice. So oil pastels are pretty cool. If you want to get yourself some at your local Dollar Tree, that's pretty awesome. So what I'm going to do is we're going to start off with the apples that are closest to us, and we're going to use overlapping. Remember, overlapping is the use of using one shape to slightly cover another shape. So I'm just going to start off with the apple that's close to us in the middle, and I'm going to draw a circle like that, okay, or as closest to it as you can. And then I'm going to do a little stem and then a smiley face, okay? So that gives the illusion that the stem is going inside the apple. Now you can make your stem thicker if you want to, like that, and just color it in if you like. There are many ways that we could have done this. Okay, like that. Now I'm going to draw more apples behind it, okay? And it's only going to be a partial circle. Like that. Maybe I can do a little one right below it, or a little, maybe another one right here. So this stem is going to go this way. I'm going to go the opposite direction. They kind of look like cherries, don't they? I'm going to try not to rub that in because it'll make lines. It's pushing too hard with my crayon. I'm going to do another one right here, a little higher. You can do as many apples as you want. I'm going to go this direction, line, and come back in. Curved line right there. Now, if you didn't want this line to be in the middle of it, I would have drawn only part of it, left a space right there, and then drawn my little stems in. Now you can color in your stems brown if you'd like instead of black. It's really your choice. I'm blowing that off. Try not to get whatever loose little apples to smear. Now I'm going to do an apple that you only see part of it. It's going to be down low. It's the way where I place my object. So whatever's down low on your picture plane, this is your picture plane, that means it's the closest to us. And whatever's up high is further away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like an apple, like it's partially coming off the picture. Do the stem. This is the apple that's closest to us. Okay. Go ahead and color in your stem how you like. You can use brown if you prefer. Because usually they're brown, right? Okay. So once you're happy with how many apples you have, then we need to create the background. We need to place these apples in a setting. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a horizon line. We're going to do a line that is going to go horizontally from left to right. And it's not going to cross over the apples. It's going to be next to the apples. So it looks like these apples are sitting on a tabletop. So I come this way. Pretend I lift up my crayon, marker, pencil, continue, pretend like I'm drawing through, and then put my pencil down or my crayon down where I left off. So I start drawing, lift up my drawing tool, continue over with my drawing tool off the paper, and then as soon as I'm to the edge of that paper. I'm going to put it back down and continue. And I do that to make sure it's on the same level. We don't want one higher than the other, because then, I mean, I don't know about you, but if you have a table where one side is higher than the other, then the things that you have on your table will not stay put. So anything below this line is the tabletop, and anything above this line is the wall, or maybe this is outside. So maybe this is like a picnic table outside, and this would be like the sky, and you could put things around it. Okay, so for me, this is inside. I'm going to do tabletop, and I'm going to do an interesting pattern. You don't have to if you don't want to, but I'm going to do checkerboard. So I'm just going to start off with doing horizontal lines, parallel lines. They're lines that do not touch. They do not run into each other. And I'm just going to continue going with diagonal lines. Try to keep the spacing the same. As best you can. Just try your best. Oops, got a little wavy there, but that's okay. And then now I'm going to go horizontal. I did that, or I can do diagonal this way. Let's try diagonal the opposite direction. I'm just going to pick a point to start. And I'm going to continue with the same spacing. If you get to this little corner, I want the same distance. So I'm just come here, try to figure out where I left off, and continue down. Now, like I said, you can use any drawing or coloring materials that you have. You do not have to use crayons. If you want to use markers, go on ahead. If you want to use oil pastels, that's cool too. I'm going to use crayons and watercolor. You can also use your markers and color it, and then use water to spread it. So now here, what I'm choosing to do is when I paint, I'm going to make it look like it's checkerboard. So I'll do one black. So only the ones that are next to each other, I'll do black. Okay, so now for our apples, you can use different shades of green, yellow, red, okay? And what we're going to do is I'm going to color them in curved lines, like kind of use these cool vertical curved lines. So I kind of like a parentheses. So this side, I'll come this side will go this way. Okay. They don't all have to be the same color. I might add several different colors to it. Maybe add a little yellow here. Sometimes when the apples are turning colors, they have different shades of, or different colors on them. We can do a little green here. It's really up to you how you want to do this. I'm just making my lines go vertically up and down, create texture. I'm probably going to add a white little shine here, a highlight. You won't be able to see it, but once I paint over it, you will. So I'm just going to do a white circle, fill it in, maybe a couple of them, like 2. Okay. I'll do another one here. You can barely even see. You can see it when I put my kind of shadow over it, but I'm just drawing a highlight. It's where the light shines on the apple to make it look smooth and shiny. I'm going to get rid of the extra or excess. I want to go in with more color. The screen's a little dark. I'm going to go in with yellow. Oops, my black smeared in. Oh well, it'll be okay. I'm just going in vertical, curved strokes. Going with a little red. I can layer my colors, and that's okay. There is no one way of doing this. It's okay to layer colors on top of each other. And so I'm kind of creating that kind of texture and the movement on these apples, making them look round. And I'm going to paint on top of that, okay? I'm just going up and down. creating that texture. And I'm happy with what I have. If you want to add more, if you want to color them all the way in with the 3 different colors, okay, you may with red, yellow, and green, you can do that. But I'm going to do some paint on top. So just give me one moment. Almost forgot this guy. Maybe this one's already a little more ripe, ready to eat. I can't forget my shiny spot right here. Did 2 little white circles. Okay, so now I have my water and my watercolors, okay? And basically all I'm going to do is I'm going to wet my brush. Still has a little red on it. I didn't wash it well last time. So I'm going to wet my brush and I'm going to wake up the color that I want. That's what I've heard other people say. You're going to wake it up. So I put plenty of water on my brush and I'm going to use a red. So all I'm going to do is kind of put water, like a little puddle, not too big. And I don't want too much paint on my brush. Okay. And I'm just going to kind of work my way and push that paint around. I learned a very hard lesson when I was younger. My teacher said, don't put too much paint. It's supposed to be thin. It's supposed to be a wash. And I went on ahead and I did my thing and made nice thick watercolor paint. And that was not good. It was too much. I put too much paint. So look how nice that is. You see the contrast of that bright yellow and green against the red watercolor? That looks really nice. And then you see my little highlights or my shiny spots. That one was kind of placed in a strange place, but it's okay. So I'm going to put more water on here, just a little bit, make a little puddle. I don't want the paint to be too thick. I want it kind of watery. So now I'm going to go here and lay it here, and then I can add more water and spread it around. Okay. I don't need to add more paint yet. Once I touch the paper, I don't need to go over the same spot while it's wet, okay? Once I color that area of paper, kind of leave it alone. And if you want to add more to it later, like another layer, let it dry first, okay? Trust me. If you go over and over the same spot, it's going to tear your paper, and you don't want that. Okay, so I'm going to add a little more water. It's like a little puddle here. I'm going to go here, add the paint. You notice I'm taking care of my brush. I'm not smushing my brush. You never want to move like this. That's not taking good care of your brush. Put a little more. I kind of waited too long on that one. You can always add more water and kind of carry that paint across the apple. See? I have kind of little beads and puddles. This is called a wax resist. The wax from the crayon is resisting the water and the paint, so it's not allowing the paint to get to the paper where the crayon is. It's only going on the paper that does not have crayon. Okay, let me get rid of that little, that looks cute, the shiny spot. I like it. I think I added a shiny spot there. Let me do this. Now, let's say you're done with your painting. If you're using paint, you don't have to. You could also do this with marker by just tracing the outline with marker and then using a brush with water and kind of pushing that marker across your apple. Okay. Or you could have just done it all in crayon, all in marker, or all in oil pastel. It's really your choice. It's whatever you have at home. But once you're done, let's see if I can put a little brown in there. Yeah, I could. That works a little bit on the stem. The little areas that the crayon did not touch the paper, it's working well. I like that. Okay. If you notice where I put the brown and where it's touching the wet red, it's moving into that wet area. The water travels into where there's more water. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to make a pattern, a black and white checkerboard pattern, and I'm just going to pick one space to start from, and I'm going to skip a space. So it's a yes color, no color, yes color, no color. We're following a pattern. And I'm not going to do it too dark. Okay. If I want to make it, I'm not going to use this red anymore because I want to clear. So I'm using the clear space with clear water. And remember, I know I want it darker, but I'm going to start light. Start light. If you're using marker, obviously your little rumpuses, your little diamonds will be a lot darker than mine. But I'm going to start off light, and if I want to do another layer after it's dry, then I will. Okay, so you can go ahead and create a different pattern if you want to on the tablecloth. I chose to do this contrasting black and white checkerboard pattern because I really like the way it looks. You can choose a different pattern if you like. So I don't want to get lost here, so I'm going to continue further down. Hey, if you notice that these shapes are going in a line, once I move over, I'll figure out where I need to go here. So just be very careful, don't rush. Okay. And so I'm going to continue coloring, and you continue doing the same, and then we'll meet back, okay? I'll meet right back. Hello, my friends. So I have finished the tabletop, the tablecloth. I can't talk, sorry. So I finished the tablecloth. I'm gonna put my brush down, and I still have to do the wall. So I'm gonna do some like, I'm gonna do a pattern for like wallpaper. So I'm just going to turn this upside down because I don't want to get that. I don't want to put my arm on that. And I'm going to pick the color I use least, this bright green, and I also love bright green. And I'm just going to try to draw like a little pattern. It really doesn't have to be, it could be polka dots. It could be like little flowers. It's really anything you want. So I'm going to do polka dots. So I'm just going to start doing a line of polka dots. And then in between these two spaces, I'm going to do here. And that'll help me kind of have an overall nice spread out of these shapes. Okay, so I'm going in between. I'm lining them up. See? This one will go in between. It's just really, if this is too much for you, then you just kind of place them where you feel that they go. I like to space mine out so it looks nice and even. You can do big polka dots, little flower shapes, squares, confetti marks. It's really up to you how you want to plan out the paper, the wallpaper. Maybe you just want a solid color. See, that didn't space out very well right there. Go all the way across. I'm trying to think, what color will I do? Still planning that out. Just going in between those shapes. Same thing on the top. Going in between, but above it. You don't have to put as many as I'm doing. Okay, so I'm happy with that. I try not to smear it like that. Okay, so that looks pretty cute. I like that. I like the polka dot against the squared or rhombus shaped tablecloth pattern. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick maybe what would be a good color. Maybe I'll do a darker green. Maybe I'll do green. So a darker green so that the light green will stand out. I'm going to use clean water. I just get these little containers from like the Lunchables. I like to recycle. So now I've got a new little compartment of clean water. And I'm just going to add a little puddle in my paint. Remember, you can do this with markers as well. And I'm just kind of lightly bringing that paint across the whole area. Maybe a blue would have been good, but I like green. You can do the color you like. I love green. It's my favorite color right now. I seem to change my favorite colors often. I like all colors, to tell you the truth, but right now this very light green that I used for the polka dots is really color that I'm very much attracted to. And I'm just going to take my paint, just kind of move it gently across. Never push the brush, always go backwards. So it goes like this. And the kind of paper I'm using, you can use like poster board. You can use, I'm using tag board or like cardstock that people use to make business cards. You can also get very inexpensive mixed media tablets at Walmart or at the dollar store. And those are nice and thick they can handle watercolor, because obviously the water from the painting makes the paper wet, and if you just use a regular paper, it'll tear on you. So I wouldn't want to touch it. So if you're just using regular paper, you're going to have to leave that paper where it is until it's completely dried. Otherwise you might tear it when you pick it up. And plus, I'd never suggest picking up a watercolor painting right away, because some of that water that you have might drip off your paper and make a mess. Just going into these little areas. Try not to rub too much in the same spot over and over again, because you'll make the texture of the paper change. It'll start rolling and getting like little balls, and then it'll tear, and then it won't look so nice. Okay, you don't see those little light green dots too much. Not standing out too much. Maybe if I would have used a darker color, like a purple or a blue, that would have stood out a little more. But it's okay. It's an experiment. You just test it out and see what happens. Okay. So like I said, you could have done paint with this. You could have done all crayon. You could have used oil pastels. You could have used any kind of drawing or coloring supplies you have to get this project done. Also, did you have to do apples? No. You could have drawn your favorite toys or your favorite snack or candies and made sure that you overlapped the shapes to show space. Okay. And that would have worked fine. Okay. You don't have to do the exact same objects in your still life that I did. You have choice. I also included other videos so that if you want to try different projects videos created by other teachers, you can do that too. So I'm done. I'm going to try to very carefully turn my paper around, and it's pretty much finished. If I wanted to go back and let this dry and go back and do another thin layer or wash on these little black rhombus or diamonds, I could do that if I wanted it to look darker, but I'm happy with the way it looks. Remember, do not write your name big across your drawings. Try to find a nice little corner and just write your name there. I can't write my name right now because my paper's wet. Maybe I can put it right here. Very tiny. I'm going to do it very little. Find a little spot right here with a very thin pen. I'm going to write N Llanos. See how little that is? It doesn't have to be giant. Okay. You're turning into Google Classroom. I know it's yours. Oops, I got a little speck there. Oh, I can fix it later. Okay, my friends, I hope you enjoyed it. I'm sure you're going to do an awesome job, and I can't wait to see the work that you turn in. I will see you later. Bye-bye.